Happy Kids TV.
The Holy Tales.
Hello, my little friends and my dear ones. Guess who's back?
We're back!
We're back! So, Holy, are you going to tell us new Bible stories? Yes, but this time I am going to tell you the special ones and the ones which are my favorites. Yay! I have a few favorite Bible stories too, like the story of Noah and the animals. That's one of my favorites too. Then, why don't we start with that?
Yippee! Once again, it's story time! Woohoo!
Once there was an old man who had a very long beard. His name was Noah. Noah worshipped and obeyed God all the time. He was the only good man in the whole neighborhood. So, one day, God spoke to him.
Noah, you are a good man, and I would like you to go away from all the selfish and mean people who are now around you. I will need you to build an ark right away, and after you are done building it, I will make it rain for 40 days and 40 nights. There will be a huge flood, but your family, your animals, and you will be safe in the ark.
What is an ark, Holy? An ark is a big boat, which is very wide, very long, and very, very tall. And it is made out of very special wood. Oh! Hearing this from God, Noah went looking for his wife and said,
We quickly need to gather food, blankets, and hay for the animals as soon as we can. God said there's going to be a great flood with lots and lots of rain, and that too for a very long time.
What? But how are we going to live through a great flood?
Do not worry about that. I'm going to build a huge ark, and our family and animals are going to be absolutely safe in it. We should hurry and get started with the preparations.
So Noah started building the ark. The ark was very big. It was tall, long, and very wide. It had a window and a big, huge door. His neighbors thought Noah had gone crazy for building such a huge boat.
Why is Noah building this enormous boat? There's no sign of water anywhere. No rivers, no oceans, nothing.
The moment Noah finished building the ark, clouds started covering the sky. Noah heard God's voice again.
Noah, it's time to go. Gather all your animals, your family, and get inside the ark.
So Noah followed God's orders. He gathered 2 of every animal in sight and went inside the ark with his family. God then shut the door of the ark. Noah and his family could see from the ark how the sky outside was getting darker and darker. Everything outside was becoming quiet and scary. Suddenly, Noah heard a drop of rain falling to the ground. Then came down the second drop, the third one, then another and another. Soon the drops became bigger and louder, and they came down faster and faster, and the rain turned into a huge storm. After 2 days of heavy rainfall, the ark started to float, and soon it was in the middle of a large ocean. It rained and rained for 40 days and 40 nights, just like God said it would. Then after 40 days and 40 nights, the rain finally stopped. The sun began to shine again. So Noah sent out a dove, but the dove came back to the ark, not being able to find any dry land. After a few days, he sent out the dove once again. This time, it came back with a leaf. For the third time, he released the dove. Days went by, but the dove never came back. Noah was very happy. He cried,
Finally, the storm is over. I think it is safe to come out now. Let's open the door and get out.
Noah and his family and all the animals marched out from the ark onto the dry land. There was nothing and no one else around. Noah realized that this was the new neighborhood that God was talking to him about.
We have a lot of work to do in this new neighborhood. We better get started.
Yes, but we first need to give God an offering to show how thankful we are for saving us from the great flood.
So Noah gave God an offering, and God was very, very pleased with him.
Oh, how I love this story. Yeah, me too.
I am glad you kids enjoyed the story.
Okay, Holly, bye. We'll be back soon for another new story.
Sure, I'll be waiting. Bye, kids! Well, today's story is called The Jonah and the Whale. Long, long time ago, there lived a man called Jonah. Jonah was a prophet who lived in Israel. One day, God appeared to Jonah.
Jonah, I want you to go to the city of Nineveh and warn the people there. Tell them that I am going to destroy all of them and their city if they do not stop disobeying me.
Jonah was not very happy with the job God asked him to do. Nineveh was a city full of bad people, and Jonah knew that. He was very scared to go there. So instead of going to Nineveh, he decided to go the other way, which would take him far, far away from Nineveh. He hoped God would pick someone else to do this particular job of warning the people there. Jonah got onto a ship, which was going to the farthest city he could find. He was feeling really tired. So Jonah went down to the bottom of the ship to take a quiet nap. God was very angry with Jonah, for he had disobeyed him. He knew exactly where Jonah was. He caused an enormous storm to come up. The sailors on the ship were afraid that the storm would sink their ship. They started throwing everything into the sea to lighten their ship. The storm got worse. They started praying to God to save them. Jonah knew what the problem was, and he also knew that there was only one thing to do. God would not stop the storm until Jonah did not do the job God asked him to do. So Jonah asked the sailors to throw him into the sea. He knew God was there with him to protect him. The sailors did what Jonah asked them to do, and immediately the storm quietened and all was calm. The sailors were astonished. They had no idea what was happening. In the sea,
Jonah sank deeper and deeper. But God had different plans for him. He did not want Jonah to drown. He only wanted him to obey his orders. So, God sent a huge fish to swallow Jonah to take him down to the sea. Jonah felt very scared. He prayed to God for forgiveness for disobeying him. Finally, after 3 days being inside the dark, stinky belly of the fish rose up to the top of the sea and spit Jonah out onto the shore. Jonah then went to the city of Nineveh and told them to stop doing all the bad work that they were doing, as this was making God very angry. The people of the city believed Jonah, and God saved them.
Oh my! How did Jonah even manage to live inside the stinky belly of the fish for 3 whole days?
That's because God was there to protect him. So, did you kids enjoy the story?
Oh yes, we loved it. Thank you for the wonderful story, Holly.
My pleasure.
To watch more videos, please subscribe. So, which story are you going to tell us today?
Well, I was thinking of Daniel in the lion's den.
Oh, that's my favorite. Go on with it, Holly.
Daniel was a good, humble, and a hard-working man from Israel, and he was a strong believer of God. God knew that Daniel had a lot of faith in him and that he would do anything to glorify him, even if it was with his own life. However, Daniel was captured when Jerusalem was defeated by the Babylonians in the great battle when Babylonia fell into the hands of the Medes and the Persians. As days went by, the king of Persia, King Darius, made Daniel an important leader in his own kingdom for his intelligence and courage. King Darius started growing fond of Daniel more and more. But the other leaders in King Darius's court were not happy about it. They did not like that the king had placed Daniel above them. After all, he was a captive and not a true Persian. So all the leaders came together and decided to get rid of Daniel. They started making plans of how they could make Daniel fall in trouble so that the king himself would throw him out of his court. But getting rid of Daniel was quite difficult for the leaders because he always obeyed all the laws of the court. The only way they could make this happen was by tricking the king into passing a new law which stated that everyone had to pray to King Darius and no other god. Those who disobeyed this law would be thrown into the lion's den. Even after this law was passed, Daniel continued to pray to God every day from his window. When the leaders found him out, they were very angry and decided to punish Daniel for breaking the king's law. So they threw Daniel into the den of hungry lions. Even though King Darius did not want this to happen. In the den, Daniel prayed to God for saving him. So God sent one of his angels to protect him from the lions. The next day, the leaders came back to the den only to find Daniel without a scratch. He was alive! King Darius was so happy that he not only restored Daniel's position in the court, but also passed a new law that the people of his kingdom should pray to God only.
I love this story every time I hear it. Daniel was so brave.
Yes, he had all the faith in God, and so he was saved from the ferocious hungry lions.
Hearing about the hungry lions is making me hungry.
Today's parable is the lost sheep. Long time ago, there lived a shepherd who had a flock of 100 sheep. The shepherd loved all his sheep very dearly and was very fond of each and every one of them. He loved them so much that he even named them. Every night, before going to sleep, he would count all his sheep to make sure that all 100 sheep were there. Every day, the shepherd would take his sheep to large green fields where they could eat fresh grass, and would also take them to freshwater streams so that they could have a nice drink when they were thirsty. When the shepherd took his sheep to the fields, he was always alert of the dangerous animals, like lions and bears, who would often come to attack or hurt them. But the shepherd was very careful and very protective of his sheep and would chase away the dangerous animals. One day, when the shepherd took his sheep out in the field, one of the sheep wandered away. When the shepherd counted his sheep, he found only 99. He was frightened. He called out for the sheep by his name, but the sheep did not return. He frantically looked for the sheep below the deep valley and behind the bushes, but he was nowhere to be found. The shepherd was very sad. He sat down on a rock and cried for his missing sheep when he suddenly heard a bleating. He looked around and saw his lost sheep walking towards him. The shepherd ran to the sheep and picked him up in his arms. He was very happy. With all his 100 sheep, the shepherd came back home.
The story was nice, but did you understand the meaning of it? Of course I did. This parable means that each and every single person is important in God's heaven. No one person is most important or least important. God loves everyone equally.
Well done, Tubby.
So, what story are you going to tell us today?
Well, today's story is about the Bronze Serpent. God punished the Israelites for not believing in him. So, for days and nights, the people wandered in the forests, and soon they were near the Red Sea once again. They were tired and impatient from all the walking and just wanted to go to the land. They started complaining to Moses and Aaron.
Why have you brought us here in these forests?
Why?
To die?
Yeah?
We were better in Egypt as slaves.
True.
We have nothing to eat or drink here.
Nothing to
We are
eat.
sick to death.
You're sick.
They cried. God was sad that the people of Israel were always complaining and forgot about all the miracles he had done. So he sent poisonous snakes among the people. Many people were bitten and some died. The people of Israel realized what they had done. They came crying to Moses.
We've sinned by speaking against God and you. Please pray to God to forgive us and take away the snakes, please.
So Moses prayed for the people. God answered Moses' prayers and asked him to make a snake out of bronze, just like the snakes that were biting the people and killing them.
Attach the bronze snake to a pole and post it among the people. Whoever is bitten by a snake but looks at the bronze snake will be saved.
So Moses did what God asked him to do. Those who looked at the bronze snake were healed, as God had instructed. Did you like the story?
Oh, yes. Yes. It was a wonderful story.
Good. Now it's time for you to answer a question. The question is, what did God ask Moses to make to help the people of Israel from the snakes?
He asked him to make a bronze snake and attach it to a pole.
Well done, Tubby. You seem to be getting smarter day by day. I hope you have enjoyed the story too. See you soon. Bye.
To watch more videos, please subscribe.
Plants and trees. On the fourth day, God created the sun to shine in the day, the moon and stars to come out at night. One day, Moses went to Mount Horeb with his sheep. There, God appeared to him as a flame of fire in a bush. Since there was no room anywhere else, they decided to spend the night in a stable. Here, Mary had her baby, Jesus. She wrapped him in a blanket and put him to sleep.
He's got the whole